What's up, guys? I just got done filming my Saturn collection, and in this video, I'm going to be showing off my Super Nintendo and my N64 collection. I'm showing off both my Super Nintendo and N64 collection in one video because I don't have a lot of games for both systems, but yeah. Now, I'm not going to be doing another video of my NES collection because my NES collection has barely changed over the last 4 years. But without further ado, I'm going to show you guys my entire game collection for both the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo 64. So let's head right on into the video. First, we're going to be starting off with my Super Nintendo collection of 2023. So let's start off with that. First off, we have Donkey Kong Country. As you all know, this was one of the best-selling games for the Super Nintendo. It's got pre-rendered 3D character models that have been turned into sprites. And, this game is a classic. And, this is a classic 2D platformer. And we all know why this game sold so well. Great game. This was the second game that I got for my Super Nintendo. Next up, we have Mario Paint. This was the first game I got for my Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I got my Super NES on Christmas of 2020. And the first game cartridge I got with it was this copy of Mario Paint. Now, Mario Paint is not really a game. It's just a paint program for your Super Nintendo. But yeah, also this cartridge feels a bit loose. But yeah, this was the first cartridge I got for my Super Nintendo. And then the next day, I went to a game store and got Donkey Kong Country. But yeah, there is Mario Paint. Next up, we have one of the greatest games of the 16-bit generation, and here is Mega Man X. In a few weeks, the North American release of this game will be 30 years old, but yeah, as you all know, this is a classic for the Super Nintendo, one of the best-selling games for the Super Nintendo, and yeah, it's no wonder this game sold so well, because this game has aged very well over the years. As you all know, this game takes place in the future, where you play as X, a more advanced version of the original Mega Man. And yeah, this game is still a ton of fun, and it's very affordable, so without a doubt, it is a must-own in any Super Nintendo collection. So yeah, there's Mega Man X. And next up, we have the sequel. Here is Mega Man X2. So, yeah, this also stands as the most expensive game that I have ever bought. I got this copy of Mega Man X2 for $125. So yeah, unfortunately, this game is up there in price, but yeah, this is my favorite game for the Super Nintendo. It took everything that was so good about the first Mega Man X and improved upon it in the sequel. Yeah. Now, if you think X2 is expensive, wait until you see the prices for the North American release of Mega Man X3. Mega Man X3 goes for like 3 times the price of X2. So, yeah. But in Japan, you can get all the Rockman X games on the Super Famicom for about $20 a piece. So, yeah, if Mega Man X2 is too expensive for you, you can always import the Japanese version or just load it onto your EverDrive. Or you can get the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, which is available for all modern platforms. But yeah, enough about Mega Man X2. That is my favorite Super Nintendo game, and also the most expensive game I've ever bought. But let me know in the comments which Mega Man X is your favorite. Anyways, let's move on to the next game. Next up, we have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I got this game on a vacation back in February at a retro game store. Now, unfortunately, this game has some cosmetic flaws that I didn't notice until I walked out of the game store. As you can see, there's a little tear right there on the cartridge label, and the back of the cartridge has quite a bit of discoloring. I don't know how well the lighting picks up on it. But yeah, that was a souvenir from the vacation that I went on in February. And cosmetic condition aside, it's a great game. I'd say this one's a hidden gem. It's a pretty cool game. There's like 5 levels, and you can pick one of the 5 Power Rangers to play in there. And yeah, the gameplay, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up. The gameplay is really fun, and the music in this one is just amazing. One of the best SNES soundtracks. But yeah, there's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers right there. Next up, we have Super Mario World. Obviously, the game that came with every Super Nintendo system. As you all know, this game was available for the Super Nintendo at launch in 1991. And, yeah, there's Super Mario World. As you all know, one of the best games on the Super Nintendo. While all my Super Nintendo games are loose cartridge, I do actually have the manual for Super Mario World right here. But otherwise, yeah, all my Super NES games are loose cart. But yeah, there is Super Mario World right there. Obviously, you can't own a Super Nintendo without this game. But yeah, there's Super Mario World right there. Next up, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. This one is a classic. Definitely one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. It basically takes everything you love about the Ninja Turtles cartoon and then makes one really fun arcade beat 'em up out of it. If you love the Turtles, then you'll without a doubt love this game. This one is a classic, although unfortunately an original Super Nintendo copy of this game is up there in price, but you can get it as part of the Cowabunga collection, which is available on all modern platforms. But yeah, definitely check out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, one of the best games from the 16-bit era. Although, in my honest opinion, I prefer the Sega Genesis Hyperstone Heist, but let me know in the comments which one you prefer. And then finally, we have X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. If you're a fan of X-Men, then you'll definitely want to check this one out. It is from Capcom, and yeah, the graphics in this one are really good. It's a fun arcade-style beat-em-up, although I will say, this game is very hard. But yeah, very cool game. Nonetheless, check it out if you're an X-Men fan. And there is the Super Nintendo collection. Now let's move on to the N64 collection. Okay, so now we're going to be moving on to the N64 collection. Although, I will tell you right now, unlike all my other games, my N64 games are not in alphabetical order. But let's move on to them nonetheless. First up, we have Glover. I believe this was the most recent game that I bought for the N64. I got this back in September, but yeah, this was one of the games I was looking forward to playing when I got my Nintendo 64. It's a 3D platformer with a unique gimmick to it. Definitely give this one a shot if you have an N64. Next up, we have Super Mario 64. Everyone knows this game. It's one of the most iconic games of the 90s. So there's no reason not to have this game if you don't have a Nintendo 64. But yeah, there's Super Mario 64 right there. One of the most iconic Mario games. Next up, we have Mario Kart 64. So this was the second Mario Kart game after the first Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. And this game is pretty good. Definitely get this one if you have an N64. fun racing game. Next up is Pokemon Puzzle League. This is a really fun puzzle game. Yeah, basically you have to match the colored pieces up in this puzzle game. And if you enjoy puzzle games, then you'll definitely want to check this one out because this one's a lot of fun. Next up, we have Tom and Jerry, Fists of Fury. Yeah, this one I'd also say is a hidden gem, but, yeah. If you ever wanted to play a game where you can take control of Tom and Jerry and beat each other up, then you'll definitely enjoy this game. In this game, you take control of characters from Tom and Jerry in a 3D style fighting game as everyone beats each other up. So, yeah, I'd recommend this one. It's a hidden gem in my opinion. And I also got this game at the same store that I got Power Rangers for the Super NES. Next up, we have Wave Race 64. This is a 3D style racing game that was available for the Nintendo 64 in 1996. This looks like a game that I would enjoy, but I still can't even figure out how to play this one. But I'd like to figure out how to because it looks cool nonetheless. But yeah, another affordable N64 game. Next up, we have Turok. This is a first-person shooter game that was available for the Nintendo 64 in, I believe, 97. It's from Acclaim, as you can see. And personally, I think the controls in this game could have been better, but definitely worth checking this one out. If you like first-person shooters, you might like this game. And finally, we have this game called Automobili Lamborghini, if I'm saying that right. But yeah, this was the very first game cartridge that I got with my Nintendo 64. If you saw my unboxing video, this was the game that the seller was supposed to bundle with my N64, but they forgot. So I had to contact the seller, and they sent it to me in the mail. But yeah, there's Automobili Lamborghini, the first game that I got with my Nintendo 64. It's an average racing game. But yeah, there is my Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 collection of 2023. Yeah, I don't know if I talk too much in these videos or go into too much detail about the games, but nonetheless, I hope you enjoy these videos. If you enjoyed these videos, if you enjoyed the video, give them a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye. Bye.